everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Four Jobbers Podcast. I'm, of course, Ginger Heat, aka Brad. I'm the orange one, and I have some lovely jobbers with me. I am back from Miami. You can't tell because I stayed out of the sun like a good boy. I wore my SPF 50 all over my body, and I am here, but I'm happy. I'm full of vitamin D. And, of course, speaking of D's, the big D himself, the body from Kirkcuddy, Jordan Deves, all the way from Edinburgh, Scotland, an original jobber, rocking the Scotland top. How you doing, bud? What's going on? You been watching the rugby or what?
Well, unfortunately, I have, man. Obviously, Scotland were robbed this week against, you know, that other part of like there's like two parts of your country, and like one bit's like normal and speaks my language, and the other bit speaks that other weird language and likes baguettes. Yeah. So those people,
Quebec,
they screwed us.
The original Quebec.
Yeah, yeah. They screwed us. Those bastards. So I've been hating on Jan, our mutual French friend, for the last little while. But other than that, man,
you need a reason to hate on him. I mean, there's lots of reasons, but
sorry, I was already hating on him. I just had to pile it on even more. You know, we're at like a level just below physical abuse at this point. But it's fine. It's fine. He's used to it. But other than that, man, I'm good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good.
Still making some brews. Got any beers on the go at the moment? You and our Italian friend Massimo from Milan, Italy. Him and Jordan have a brew. For those that don't know, they're brewing beer now. They're making craft beers. What do you got?
Yeah, we just did an Italian Pilsner actually. So we will be kegging that tomorrow, popping a wee taste of that. You know, that'll be fun. We'll let you know how it goes. But yeah, it's all going well. We're looking at properties just now to try and upscale. So we'll see how that goes. We've got some fingers in the pies and all that jazz. But good.
Fucking love that.
Is it? Do you guys do Pancake Tuesday? Is that a thing?
No.
Pancakes every day.
Taco Tuesday.
At time of recording, it's Shrove Tuesday or Pancake Tuesday over here.
Shrove?
Yeah. Is it not a thing? No.
What's a shrove?
It's a I don't know, some kind of
what are all these things?
It's some kind of bad is it?
He's talking about Mardi Gras. It's just called something else.
Nah. Is it?
Yes.
Fat Tuesday?
Yeah.
No.
Because you eat pancakes. Yes, it's the same day. It's just called different things all over the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's ours. It's Scottish.
I thought it was yeah, but I thought it was like a Jewish thing. So I was like, Wax probably
Excuse you.
would know about it. But
Get fat on Tuesday. You eat all the pancakes, all the potato pancakes, if you're of a certain Gaelic persuasion. And then Lent starts on Wednesday, and that's where you start to not eat. That's where that all comes from. There's your lesson for today.
Wow.
Holy
Lent, notably celebrated by Jews.
A half into the podcast, and I'm only learning more from our guests than I've learned from any idiots. What the hell?
That's what a guest should do, right? They should bring their perspective and information and make something more interesting. My work here is done. Have a nice night, boys.
Yeah, bye. Shortest episode ever. Done.
Incredible. Already off to a good start. We'll introduce Erika in a minute, but of course we have the Waxy, the Venomous, the son of the dentist, another craft beer enjoyer, a big lover of latkes, I'm sure, as well. What's going on with you this week, buddy?
Oh my God, what is going on with me this week?
Oh my God.
I'm never ready for this question of like, how am I doing?
Let's move on then.
Yeah, what to say. Well, I don't know. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow. I'm not doing anything for it, but yes, that's the reminder. Erika's got a little heart. I actually couldn't tell what it was at first when you first jumped into the call. I'm like, oh my God, did you hurt yourself? But no. If anything, it's love is in the air. But no, otherwise can't complain. We got lots of wrestling to talk about. We got lots of wrestling here, there, and everywhere. So I'm excited to join once again with you jobbers.
Awesome. And of course, the enigmatic, the charismatic, the bizarre, the mysterious, the wonderful creature that is They Hate Jason. What have you got going on? I saw him actually today when I picked up my fob because Jason was very kind enough to look after my cat, Norman, a little bit while I was gone. And he had a big box full of Costco goodies for lunch. How was that?
I had a pizza and a hot dog for $4. Can't complain, right?
Let's go.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it for me.
That's been Jason's week.
At least he had
Pizza and hot dog.
something. At least he had something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Wow.
the world of Jason. I mean, he'll chime in with some more special things later, I'm sure. But we have to get to our very special guest, Erika, a.k.a. Brett Fart, a.k.a. Disco Deathmatch, a.k.a. Elle Generica. What is going on with you? Thank you so much for joining the pod. You got the heart on. You ready for Valentine's Day? You got any plans? Or is it all going to be a surprise?
All gonna be a surprise.
Ooh.
I'm definitely like that annoying person in the office that's like chronically positive. So I was like sticking hearts on everything today. I stuck one on myself. Yeah, it's a glitter heart. Like I think that just really represents the annoying, flamboyant person that I am.
That's not a no. I love that. I always try to bring the positivity and the happiness and the optimism, especially to the workplace, because
You need that in the office. It gets real dark
Hell yeah.
sometimes in the office.
Yeah.
Are you like so? You all pretty much work either a little bit from home or like in an office setting, right?
Yeah, I'm doing the Monday, Friday at home, middle of the week. I'm a regular grinding office gal.
Wow. Yeah. I'm glad I don't do that. But
you're in the physical building though, Jordan.
Physically,
Yeah,
You're in the
I'm
house. You're in the house.
House.
I'm in, but I don't have to like. Yeah, I guess it's actually worse for me. Yeah,
It is worse.
You
You
got
got-
the public
Yeah.
all the time.
Public.
Oh God.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like getting out of the house. I'm a big yapper, as you can tell. So I need to go out and yap to other people. I basically go to work to like workshop stand up. Like I stand up at my desk and I just like do my monologue to everyone.
Hey,
They haven't
that's
kicked
fair.
me out yet, so I think it's going well.
I know you're a fan of Norm Macdonald. Is he an inspiration at all? And the way he delivers,
Are you
and
really?
the fact that he just like the big thing about him is he tells a joke for himself, right? So even if it's not funny, he's laughing.
Absolutely. Well, you don't get into things like wrestling for popularity, right? Like the same way Norm tells a joke for himself. Like I'm very much that way. Like if the only person laughing is me, I still won because like if you're not doing things for yourself, then what's the point?
Love it. Class.
Absolutely.
And he's a Quebec boy. He's just like us.
Damn straight.
He's probably my favorite human to ever have existed. I think, like easily.
That's just
Definitely.
fucking rude.
Oh,
But
I'm sorry, but he's way above you, buddy. Sorry.
Whoa, way above.
Even
way
Brad.
above.
Even Brad.
I'll take
Even
that.
Brad.
Wait,
I don't try to
that
compete with
fails
that
I'm
man.
below Brad.
Yeah.
Good God.
I won't even ask where I am. I don't want
You're in there somewhere.
yeah, okay. At least I'm in there somewhere. I'll take it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jason,
Love your
thank you
bros.
for that. A little blow to my heart. I don't have one on my face, but
It's
a
Norm
little blow to
Macdonald,
my
man.
actual heart. Yeah, no, I get that, but come on, it's the 200th episode of the Four Jobbers podcast, and you got to lay that on me at the start. We've got an amazing guest on, and you've got to break my heart like that. That's fine. I can deal with it, but I'm not going to like it,
So, what do you want to talk about?
Oh.
I guess a good one. Let's start off with a question. Let's start off with easy one before you guys can jump into it. You've met Minoru Suzuki, you've met Kevin Owens, you've met Mick Foley, you've met MJF, you've met Cody. Is there anyone that you haven't met that you want to meet? Because it seems like you've met so many of the stars out there, and same on the independent scene too.
Charlotte Flair, definitely 100%.
Oh yeah.
That's my like biggest inspiration. I love her so very much. She's had such a profound impact on me as just a growing woman in this world. I have a tattoo that kind of looks like Charlotte Flair too.
Deliberately?
Pardon?
Was it deliberate or?
Yes. Like
Oh,
it's
okay.
like, it's very Charlotte Flair inspired. Like it's like a little woman's cartoon. It's somewhere on my
That's
Instagram.
fine.
You guys can probably find it.
Okay.
But yeah, it would definitely be Charlotte Flair. I just want to tell her to her face how much I appreciate her career. And my second right underneath is The Undertaker. Like those are my two favorite wrestlers. I got to see Big Mark in person at least once before I die. And I think I have some good chances too. Like I've been very lucky to kind of get myself in these situations where I get to kind of meet people. So I know if I keep at it, the day will come.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, one of the questions we were going to ask, I guess, was, growing up or whatever, who were your favorites? You've kind of already answered that, so that's great.
Well, he's my earliest wrestling memory. The one I remember is him versus Giant Gonzalez, WrestleMania. Like, it's hard to remember like what your first wrestling memory is, but for me, that's like the farthest back that I can remember. Just seeing those two standing there and being like, "Oh my god, this is like," it was so cool. So,
and you're a wee guy, so that's like,
yeah,
that's massive for you.
Exactly. Those are giants for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess let's just dive in and we'll ask. We'll just abuse Erika's ears with our questions inanely for a little while, if that's all right with you. I think the question for me was, particularly for a guy growing up in Scotland, who I don't even have many guy friends who are into wrestling. Like it's big here, and when an event rolls into town, there's a lot of folk will go to it, but it's not as big as it is in the States and North America in general, right? How did you get into wrestling?
I had a next door neighbor who was a girl my age, and I think her older brother had shown her wrestling. And this is right when John Cena started to get big. And so we started watching this together. Shout out to Alana, my girl.
There we go, Alana.
So when we were little kids, we used to watch wrestling together. Like, that was the thing. We were in love with John Cena. I had a big John Cena poster on my wall. Like, that was the first wrestler I ever loved. I like listened to his rap album.
Went platinum.
Yeah, and like
Damn.
and like every couple of months I would like get the courage to ask my parents, "Can we please order a pay-per-view, please?" And I remember, like, as a treat, I forget what year it was, but it was we got to order SummerSlam, and I remember like me and my best friend Alana, it was Triple H in the main event, I believe, and I was like in my living room and I did the Triple H like spit like all over the TV. Like, that's one of my favorite memories of like wrestling as a kid. Like, that's where it started, like spitting in my living room thinking I'm a member of DX. It's funny because, wrestling is we think of it as a very male dominated thing, but my earliest wrestling memories is like me and my girlfriend, watching wrestling together as kids. And now as an adult, the people I watch the most wrestling with are my girlfriends. Like I say all the time everywhere, wrestling is for the girlies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, if as somebody who, I think more now, wrestling is becoming a little bit more mainstream because you're pulling in stars from other, walks of life, and different celebrities are getting involved in it more now. So it's more accessible for people who don't actually watch wrestling. I'm like this go-to guy who someone will come up and go, "Here, I heard a story about X insert name of wrestler here. Tell me about it. Is it true?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'll tell you all about it if you listen to the Four Jobbers podcast every Thursday when it's released." So it's amazing to see, like, obviously, like, hear people's stories about how they got into it. Because for me, it was, again, exactly the same kind of thing. It was just a mate had access to a pay-per-view that I didn't, and I just was like, "Yeah, let's go. I'm going to go and hide out at his house and watch that when I was told I wasn't allowed to by my parents or whatever, But yeah, that's class. That's class.
Yeah, it's been a great tool for that to make connections. Waxman, right? I mean, Jason and I have been friends since we were little kids, but it was a great way to bring Waxman into the group. The fact that he liked wrestling, we're like, oh my God, all of a sudden, way cooler. And when I went to Scotland and I was working at the Apple store and I was in the back room where we do the repairs, and one of the guys back there was listening to just like theme song after theme song, and right away you're like, oh my God, yes, there's wrestling fans here. And we made that connection and then found out that Jordan liked wrestling, and that's how this podcast got started. So it's incredible, the friendships that come from this wacky world, right?
Yeah, it's great.
For sure, yeah, because, I mean, it's super popular, wrestling, obviously, but not everyone you meet is going to be into it. So when you meet someone that actually likes wrestling, it's an instant connection. Like, they just hired someone where I work, and I found out he likes wrestling. That's it. That's all you need. And you're just like this.
And he's probably jumped above me and Brad, and you're like,
he's on his way. He's on his way, working his way up the card.
Jason's got his own AEW rankings.
Yeah.
Chooses himself. But it's true. I kind of found out Brad liked wrestling by accident. I happened to overhear him talking to somebody else about it.
Marking it always.
Yeah. I think he was talking about Kane or something. And I'm like, well, no one says Kane if they're not watching WWE because we're not in Tottenham Hotspur watching Harry Kane. He's not there anymore, right?
Yeah, no, he's not. But honestly, I love the reference. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think, growing up wrestling, it was almost like something you were embarrassed to talk about because it wasn't seen. Like we were just past the Attitude Era. Wrestling wasn't at its peak coolness. We were in the Ruthless Aggression Era, which looking back was also a fantastic era. But
probably better.
Underrated.
Better. Yeah, arguably better. I would have that argument. But it seems like it's much easier now with social media, with just kind of the culture around it. It's also more welcoming culture overall. It's got work to do, but it's getting there. It's just easier to come out and say, wow, you like wrestling, I like wrestling too. So it's always nice to hear.
Say it now. It's okay.
It's okay. It's not weird.
And on that kind of sidebar, as we get into the soccer football, is Francesco Totti like the hottest soccer player of all time, or
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just straight out.
Did someone do a really good deep dive on my Instagram? 10 points to Brad for being a very good researcher.
These are a Nardwar.
That is
definitely
also an athlete I've met twice.
Nardwar?
No, Francesco Totti.
Okay, yeah. It's like an athlete.
Imagine.
You met
Really?
Totti. That's
How
great.
did you meet Totti?
Where did you meet Totti? What?
When I was a teenager, I was super, super, super into Italian soccer, and they played in Toronto, and I went to Toronto to go watch them, and I knew that they were staying at the Hilton, I think, on King Street or something. So I just called the hotel and I made a reservation for that. Like I stayed there overnight. It's public space, like you can be there. So if you just wait in the lobby long enough, the entire team will come in and out, and So I caught Totti there, and then another time they had played in Montreal. They were doing a friendly, and they were staying at the Ritz-Carlton. So I was like outside on the street, and when the players came out, Totti, take a picture. Yeah,
Crazy.
that's when I was like younger, and I had time to do those kinds of things, like the hotel stalking and stuff. I tried to do that with Ibrahimovic. He was not into it. I'm a huge Ibrahimovic lover. I have an Ibrahimovic doll. Like I bought it in Paris when he was playing for PSG. Yeah, Eric has a whole box of like secret fun stories.
We're gonna need to get you back on the 300th episode for more of these stories.
See you in 2 years.
So who's your Italian team then? Who would you pick?
It would be Roma. Yeah.
It would be Roma.
Yes.
That's a shame.
Yes.
That is a shame.
They're a humble team.
They are.
That's because Massimo, Jordan's probably best friend now, I guess, in Scotland, right? He's for Inter?
Inter Milan. Yeah.
It's okay. We all make choices.
Some right, some wrong.
So Jordan, you're for Wraith Rovers, I guess. That's because Jordan's from Scotland, so just outside of Edinburgh. But I don't know if they count as like a real team. But I guess the question is always: is it Rangers or Celtic? If you had to pick.
If I had to pick, probably Suicide. No, no, I'm not picking. I can't do that.
Yeah,
unalive.
So, okay, we'll stick to was it Arsenal? Arsenal.
Yeah, well, so my Premier League team is Arsenal. There is a link between Arsenal and my local football team, Wraith Rovers. So that is why. But it's difficult because like my dad's a Rangers fan. I knew I liked that Rangers. Guy. He's so much cooler than you in every way. He's like, he is cooler, tall. He's handsome. He's a teacher, helping everybody all the time. He's a skier. I'm all right. I mean, I'm doing okay.
Jordan's getting real hate on this episode. Oh my God.
I'm just comparing you to the goats here. I mean,
this is Jordan's last episode.
Totti and my dad.
Yeah,
they're the goats apparently. Man alive. But yeah, I can't pick between those two, man. Get back to wrestling.
Because I don't know soccer. Let's go back to wrestling.
There we go.
Yeah, Jay, what do you got for us? You got anything on your mind?
No, I'm just saying let's get back to wrestling.
I knew that was
you guys talk about
it. So I guess one of the questions that we wanted to ask it was if we think about what the general public see when it comes to wrestling, it's always WWE or at a push AEW. But obviously you do a lot of work in the independent scene. How do you feel that differs from what mainstream wrestling is and what you're involved in, both in IWS and more recently, and congratulations by the way, WWS?
It's very different, and it's good that it's different. I think WWE and AEW, things like that, those were meant to be enjoyed on television. And I think indie wrestling is meant to be enjoyed in person. When I show someone like an IWS, taping on TV, it really doesn't do it justice at all. The indie shows, it's meant to, you're meant to feel what you're watching. It's not just about seeing it. You have to feel the room. You have to hear the table break. You have to feel the light tube shards kind of fly over your head. And I know this is like a bit more of like a hardcore style of wrestling, but it's just, it's different in the sense that indie wrestling is meant to be felt, and big production style like WWE is meant to be watched on TV in a pretty way. Like I've done, like we've all been to like TV tapings for Raw and SmackDown, or like pay-per-views. Like I went to WrestleMania a couple of years ago, like, wow, what a dream come true. But the reality is, I think I would have rather watched it on TV. There's a lot that's missing from the magic that is WWE. Like WWE's magic is the production. It's incredible. The montages they put together, the way everything is just, it's glossy, it's beautiful, it's candy for your eyes. And it comes across really, really well on TV. Live, without Michael Cole talking to me in the back, there's something that's kind of missing. And because you're like not like right up close to the ring, I still hear the slams and stuff and I can see what's happening, but I'm missing that connection. And the connection is really the thing that makes me love wrestling. When you go to a live wrestling show and you're banging your head with the people next to you and you're yelling at the top of your lungs, and the room is shaking, like it's physically shaking you. There aren't many things in life that can physically and emotionally move a person like that. I think that's the magic of indie wrestling. It might not be polished. It doesn't look amazing on TV, and it's hard to show it to other people without them saying like, this looks like crap. Like you're in a church basement with the fucking lights on. Like this looks like shit. Like, no, dude, like you have to trust me. Like you just got to go there and
just come with me one day. Yeah.
Just let it happen to you, take it in. And you can't be like a bitch about it. Like if you go to one of these shows, you participate in the chants. Like there's no one you can't be too cool at a wrestling show. If you think you're cool, like if you're going to a wrestling show, you're not cool. Okay. Like that ship has sailed for you. Like build a bridge and get over it. Put your fucking chest into it. Do the chants. Cheer for your favorite wrestler. Boo the assholes. Like put yourself into it. That's where that magic happens. You find yourself like the wrestlers, they're just doing moves in the ring, but a move to the left makes you react in a certain way, and then a move to the other side makes you react in a way that you're like, oh my god, like I didn't realize, fuck, they have me under their thumb, like it's working. The magic is working. These guys in their tights are getting me to react emotionally. There are so few things in this world, I think, that have that kind of puppet magic. Music can do that, theater, some film. But indie wrestling has really fucking moved me in a way that nothing else really has. You get some good moments in the mosh pit at some metal shows, some good hardcore shows, but the indie wrestling magical power, like it's just something you got to go feel.
Yeah. Hey.
Wow.
Totally agree.
Goosebumps.
No,
That was a great answer.
Me and Brad went to WrestleMania. I think I'm just happy I went so I could say I did it. But the actual
exactly, that's what it's for, to say I went.
Yeah, we went to it was The Rock and Cena, I think, was the main event, right? And that was CM Punk versus Undertaker. So that was Undertaker's last win after he lost the streak. But we were sitting way up, and it was freezing, and just drinking like outside. Dunkin' Donuts coffees all night just to stay awake and warm. I'm just happy I went so I could say I went, but honestly, it would have been better at home, I think, overall.
Agreed.
I mean, the first big event like that for me, obviously it's difficult or more difficult for me to go to these kind of things, was Clash at the Castle. Like I'd been to some tapings of Raw and SmackDown before. In fact, Brad, me and you went to an NXT live event, which when I look at the card for what NXT was at the time,
back then,
ridiculous. Like Samoa Joe versus Apollo Crews and Finn Balor versus, it's ridiculous. Like anyway, the biggest event I'd been to at that point was Clash at the Castle. And I remember we got our seats upgraded as we were going in because they decided to move around where our camera was or something like that. And I said, oh, class, this is amazing. And we were like just off to the side of where the entranceway was. And I'm thinking, this is going to be amazing. We're going to get a great view. But there was 65,000 people in that stadium in Cardiff. And I couldn't really see what was happening. I couldn't really hear what was, where things were. And I remember watching it a few days after I got back and just thinking, "Oh man, that looks amazing. I wish I was." Oh wait, I'm not. It's two different events. It's two different events. One was a live event that I went to, and I was immersed into it wholly. But it was a different show that I saw when I watched it on screen. So I totally agree. Yeah.
And then there's moments like obviously when Sammy was in Montreal, that. Those two shows, that being in the building for is something that I'm so glad we were there for.
Yeah, to feel the energy and and everyone like cheering for the same person, and it was overwhelmingly good, and it made me believe he could actually win, which normally I'm very pessimistic about that. And they tricked me again.
I should have brought it up.
I
can't handle it.
There's a video of you crying in Utopia.
No, that was a special moment. I'm happy I was in the building for that, 100%.
Yeah.
But there's few times where in WWE you get a moment like that,
True.
To get the whole Bell Center on their feet, like that emotional, like that was a magical moment that you don't really get often on these like weekly shows,
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we were there for that. Like it was one of the most special wrestling moments, like not just for Montreal, but I think like ever. Period.
Yeah, like even people not from Montreal just watching that are like, oh my god, look at that It's one of the best reactions of all time, if not the best. It's close.
It's up in that upper echelon.
Yeah.
That said, I found myself speaking French at one point because
like speaking in tongues just came out.
That might have been the pints going to your brain.
Yeah,
a couple jars of your cortex.
But yeah, like it was wild. Like I'm so glad that I made the journey across to come to the show. But like it was wild. It was absolutely wild being there for that moment because I feel like that will obviously perhaps we're biased. One is people who were there and Quebecers, but like I feel like that is a moment that will remain in history. It's not going to go away. It's going to be remembered. It was that big of a deal at that point in time. So yeah. Class. Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then after that we had so many special connections. Obviously Zach and everybody from Love Wrestling, shout out to all of them. We had so much fun at the pub afterwards. Jordan taking that piece of the chair, getting up and singing Flower Scotland and playing the guitar with it and everything else. And are there any wrestlers that you would say are like, no matter what they are, no matter what character they're playing, behind the scenes they're a 10 on 10 like great person that you've really come to love after meeting them?
Me?
Yeah, we haven't met anybody. We don't know. We know.
Oh, we met
Giordano and stuff like that.
We met
we met
BFAB and
that was true.
Yeah.
We did meet Hit Row that night. That was
Hit Row. To Pizza Danny for hooking us up.
A lot of those encounters have been like kind of brief, like, oh my gosh, could we get a picture? Thank you so much. Love you so much. Cody Rhodes was super nice. That was a very quick one.
Or even on the indies, it doesn't have to be, like the wrestlers that we would know from
Jay
local.
White is a piece of bread. Do people say that? We say that in Italian. Does that translate
good?
to English?
I don't know. I couldn't tell if that's good or not. Is that good?
That was good.
You want to be a piece of bread?
I think that's an Italian saying that doesn't translate. Like what a guy, like that's a nice guy.
He's a tomato. He's a gabagool. I would have been like, okay,
yeah.
Fresh bread.
He was, you know what? He was super, super nice. Like I picked him up from the airport that day. I was assigned his little helper. And he's just like a really down to earth, great guy. Like he's happy to talk with you about stuff. And I was helping him with his merch and stuff. And then he tried to like pay me at the end. And I was like, no, brother, like this isn't a job for me. Like I do this because I really am passionate about the project that we're doing here. Like I'm here as a friend to the IWS, like I'm picking you up as my friend. Like I don't work for you, like we're all equals, like we're all pals, but he was just a really, really cool guy. And And he kind of hinted that he was going to leave Japan. So I was kind of just like, oh, special. But yeah, I would give Jay White for like a top name guy. He was a super cool, down to earth guy. Suzuki's like one of my favorite wrestlers ever. The only thing is we have this, language barrier between us, but he's very gracious, like he tries, he's happy to try to communicate with you. And that was a really special one. That was cool.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens too. I mean, everyone's nice. Like, if you're gonna do wrestling, that's the thing. Like, you don't do wrestling because you want to be a great big superstar. Like, this isn't the place to be, right? So I think everyone kind of has that a little bit of humbleness that stays with them, because it's fucking grunt work, right? Like, it's the shittiest shit work that you could possibly do. If you make it to the top, that's amazing. But that grunt work that gets you there, I don't think you forget that.
There are so few that actually make it to that point.
Exactly.
To make a living doing it. And I guess that ties into something else I was thinking about, is you've had a great view of what goes on backstage, and not to get into dirt, but like how much pain do the performers go through that we don't get to see, that we're not privy to, not just in death matches, but just in regular matches. What is it like at home?
You're fucking sore. Like, it sucks. Like, I guess the most, just for example, our friend Moretta's. Are you guys familiar with the Quebec?
Yeah,
like,
no, of
Moretta's
course.
was in
Absolutely.
Thetford Mines wrestling 2-3 weeks ago.
Shout out to him. Like,
cracked his freaking neck. Now the guy's in a neck brace, Thank God he's okay. He's not paralyzed or anything. He'll make a comeback. The doctor had told him, he was telling me, the doctor said, like, you're so lucky that you're, like, really muscular and in shape. That saved your neck from snapping in half. These kinds of things happen all the time.
And talk about nice guys, too. Like, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Like, right? Right? And, like, he's so fucking lucky. Like, oh my God. But, like, Green Phantom, for example, like, that's my boyfriend for the last many years. After every weekend, it's like, okay, get the ice. Like, shit hurts. Shit hurts. Like, it's the most unforgiving, unrelenting, thankless kind of job. But then you get those moments, like, like, I see kids come out, like, with his t-shirt, and they're so fucking happy to meet him. And, like, you can't see his eyes because he's wearing a mask, right? But, like, I know he's lighting up.
And
that's the thing about wrestling, because it is grueling. It takes a big toll on your body. It's very physical, very athletic. And then people that don't understand it or don't really care for it are like, yeah, but it's fake. And I'm like, that must be so annoying. Honestly, like, I would rather play football. I would rather maybe even be a boxer or UFC fighter. I don't know, rather than a wrestler with like a 365-day schedule, wrestling every night. The risk every night to get hurt. Like, I don't know if I could ever do that. That's why I respect it so much. Like, I want to, like, when I was a kid, I want to get the cheering and stand on the top rope and on all that stuff, but I could not put the work in. There's no way. It's a lot of work.
You can't even lift your mattress through to your bedroom. So
no, I could, maybe I'll be a manager or something, but no, I could not. No, I would like to try a match though. I've never been slammed. I've never been in a ring. I never took a bump. But one day I would like to do that for sure.
We've been invited to the dojo. We just got to show up, boys. We've been invited.
I want to know what it feels like, just one time at least.
Erika, you went through a table once.
I would like to see that happen.
It fucking hurts, and it hurts even more
went through a
on
table?
the second day.
There you go.
Oh my God.
I went through a table once on a street stunt. That was really funny. But we did it for fun. Like, me and my friends, we called superstar Shane Hawk, the #1 coach at the IWS dojo. We're like, let's have some fun. So he's like, come in on a Sunday morning, and for 2 hours, we played intro to wrestling, and it was honestly, it's hilarious. If you haven't done it, gather 4 of your favorite friends or least favorite friends if you want to punch them, and go book 2 hours with superstar Shane Hawk. If you're a wrestling fan, you got to do it at least once. Like, the fact that this opportunity even exists, like, go take advantage. Take a bump. Feel yourself vibrate from head to toe and ask yourself, Jesus Christ, how the fuck do these guys do this multiple times a week for multiple years?
I'm sure it's the same for you. We're at that age where everybody is...
What's stopping us?
Down, let's go. And we're at that age, everybody's getting married. They're all these bachelor parties. Guys, go do your bachelor party at the IWS dojo. But
I'll take notes.
You're down, Erika. Of course, the 4 jobbers will be there. We're down.
I mean, I'll need to
Okay,
get a
let's
flight
do it.
again,
I'm
but
serious.
I can
Get
make
over
it.
here,
It'll be
Jordan.
I
fun.
can make that work.
Down.
It is true though. It reminds me of when we did have Andrew Shane Hawk on here, and the first thing he said, we asked him what advice, given that he does coach so many, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out? And the number one thing he said is get in shape, because it is I mean, it doesn't look easy to begin with, but it's still even harder than that. So I can't imagine. It's one of the cool things of going to these IWS shows, and we'll definitely make it out to a WWS show soon as well, is also getting to see them come up from the dojo, have their first couple matches, and grow into these, we'll say, household names. And so that's awesome, and seeing them grow and develop. And yeah, you know, you're seeing a different side of wrestling that you don't see on WWE and AEW, and that's what makes it like addicting to go to. So yeah, I mean, it's harder than it looks, but I'm excited to try it one time.
I'm going to give you a rock bottom.
Onto the tax.
Onto the tax.
Face first.
Onto the wax.
Do we want to talk about the Women's Wrestling Syndicate?
Yes.
Yes. Immediately. Yeah. Let's do it.
What do you want to talk about?
Whoa, nice. What do you want to talk about? Like how did it come about? What's your involvement with it? How's it going so far? Where can we see what's going on? Or where is it being displayed? All those wonderful things.
I guess we didn't really intro who I am, so people watching this or listening to this are like, okay, so just a random girl. But I'm a friend of the IWS for many years. You know, runner, backstage person, picker-upper of Jay White. So I'm always around. Like, I'm that basically, you need a woman to kind of be around and be the face of stuff. I do a lot of the PR for them. I try to get them booked on TV and news and journalists to come cover them and stuff like that. So I'm the person with the least amount of CTE, so they send me to go speak on their behalf, and I love doing it. You know, like I'm happy to for me, like, I'm pushing this amazing community initiative. Like, I see how hard these people work, and I'm happy to be their mouthpiece. So just being around, so Lou Fisto, who is like not just a women's wrestling legend, but a wrestling legend, like, around the world, she wanted to start her own thing. You know, she said it, like, now is the time. There's never been a better time than right now. So she teamed up with IWS. IWS has the kind of the infrastructure to do, you know, this kind of stuff. And they said, okay, Lou, like, this is your thing. Run wild with it. Like, we trust you. We know, you know, it's fucking Lou Fisto. Like, I don't think anyone was worried about it not being successful. So she and 3 of her partners, like, they're a real organization. Like, I've been around indie wrestling for a while, okay? Indie wrestling is very carny, as we know. It's a little bit unorganized. And that's why there's usually, like, a backup Erika who, like, goes in and help, because it's not so organized. But Lou and this WWS has just been, like, the most amazing thing to be part of. Like, you see what happens when you put women in charge? Like, shit is organized. Like, emails were sent with call sheets and call times. There was snacks backstage. There was water backstage. No water discourse.
Oh,
like,
nice.
It's just been such a positive experience to be a part of. So we started kind of planning this in the fall. And I'm not going to give myself props. Like, I wasn't really a part of that. It was really Lou and her team. And Andrew, who, you know, Shane Hawk, God bless him, he kind of told Lou Fisto, like, you guys should get Erika to be the ring announcer. So when they asked me, well, the answer is very simple. It's yes. Like, of course I want to be a part of a women's wrestling project with Lou Fisto. Like, name a better time. Don't worry, I'll wait. So I'm so lucky to be a part of it. Like, they have the beautiful graphics and everything all set up. It was filmed. So it's been running so smoothly and so nicely, which is such a different vibe from a lot of the other indie things that I've kind of been involved in. Like, no shade to IWS, love IWS. It's such a huge fucking ship. You know, sometimes it's hard to steer. So this has been a really great experience. Our first show was February 4th. We did it at the IWS dojo. And it was a really magical day. Yeah, so it was all women backstage. Everything was like ready and beautiful. A lot of times, I'm not like, this is not dirt on anyone, but a lot of times when you're in like an indie wrestling show, you know how these indie wrestler guys are, especially dudes that have been around for a really long time. They're grizzled by the war of indie wrestling. They're hurt, they're pissed off, and they're professional fighters, right? Like they've kind of got like the piss and vinegar in them. And they don't like the booking, and there's a lot of like heat between people. Like this is just very normal for an indie wrestling environment, you know? Like there's always people who are a little on edge. This at the women's wrestling show, like it was just joy, like joy radiating off of everyone. It was a lot of like, we never get a chance to get all these women in the room at the same time and give them this opportunity, and they got it, you know? And everyone was so happy to work together. There was just like this very, very beautiful, pure energy. And it was like I'm glowing, you know? Like I've been waiting my whole life for something like this. You know, as a little girl, you grow up watching wrestling, and the women's product that you're shown is bra and panties matches and like really degrading, really hurtful things. So as a kid, you know, you grow up seeing this image of women. You don't have a very good image of yourself. You know, we see ourselves in the media that we watch, and I always had a very negative view of women's wrestling. You know, like, well, I can't be a women's wrestler because I don't look like that, and I refuse to act that way. You know, this is all very degrading stuff. Now we have this completely different product that really showcases the beauty and the athleticism and the strength of these female wrestlers, of this talent. And that first WWS show was really encapsulated kind of this like healing of our inner child. You know, all of us, we're all kind of the same age, the girls that were there, like between 20 and 40. We all watched kind of the same product growing up, and we all have that same kind of shitty scar about what we watched as kids. And now seeing those girls, those are the girls I wish I had to watch growing up. And so when we were there at the show, you know, I'm looking around, and there's little girls. There were like, you know, 5-year-old girls, 10-year-old girls standing at ringside watching this amazing product, watching what they could aspire to become: strong, beautiful, athletic women, you know, real athletes who get an opportunity. You know, they're actually watching it live, like, oh, if these women can do it, then that I can do it too. And that's really all we could want, right? Is to show other people that you can do this too. This could be you. Yeah. So it's a passion project for me, you know. Beautiful to get paid, like that was super cool and nice of them to do that, but I'm there because I love what I'm watching. I'm healing my inner child by being there. I'm seeing the revolution happen like in real time, you know. And it's fucking sick. It's powerful, and the energy was palpable in the room. People were so happy to see themselves reflected in a positive way. You know, there was a lot of queer people and women, and just like a place where everyone can enjoy themselves in a safe way. There's so few places like that, especially in sports. And like, I love sports. I'm very passionate about sports, but a lot of the times it feels like sports doesn't love me back. This is a place where I have found love. Like literally, I mean, I love my boyfriend who's a wrestler, but the friendships and the things I've seen, and the girls, you know, from the IWS dojo, I watched them, you know, when they were students, and now they're fucking on pay-per-view. Holy fuck, they're on pay-per-view. Like, this is the best time to be alive. So all that long-winded speech to say that our next show is going to be March 24th. It's at the IWS dojo. Tickets are $20. They just announced the lineup of all the women who are going to be there, and I think it's really fun because, you know, when you're in Montreal, we tend to see a lot of the same women's wrestlers fight each other over and over again. Lufisto has really made an effort to go get talented women from other parts of regions of Quebec, part of New Brunswick, and Ontario as well. So we're getting this really nice fruit salad of amazing different talent. And that was like the best part of the last show, is that we got to see like our IWS girls that we know fight other girls and see what they bring to the table. So I'm really, really excited to see this next batch of new women come and fight. And I better see 3 familiar faces there at the next show.
No excuses now.
Been laid down.
Yeah, hopefully me, Brad, and Wax can make it. I can't speak for Jason. So yeah,
I'll go.
That's amazing. It's great to hear. Like it's the girlifying of wrestling, if I'm using that phrase correctly, if it's the one I remember. But
we're girlifying wrestling because wrestling is for the girlies.
Anybody is welcome, and that should. So, absolutely. It's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the questions, I guess, that we always ask people when we have them on the show or whether we meet them, and I think it's one that's pretty common when any wrestling-related conversation happens. It's always, do you have a favorite finisher?
No. I know that's a really anticlimactic answer, but like I really don't. That's not what I watch wrestling for. I'm like picturing it in my head. I just like action. I like, big noise go boom. A favorite finisher? I don't think so. I just like to see people get beat up for fun. You know what? I like a good gotch style pile driver. That's a Suzuki specialty.
I mean, that's fair.
It's fucking scary looking.
Okay.
That shit scares me. I like that one.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you're surely a big fan of...
What about you?
Gunter / Walter then, because there's no finisher there. There's about 25 different finishers, but...
Jordan, you're a fan of the... What did I pick as my finisher last time? I don't even remember. I think it changes every month.
You picked like a frog splash.
Yes,
I think was your
5-star
frog
splash.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, the 5-star frog splash.
5-star, yeah.
5-star.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
not 3.
mine's was the jackknife powerbomb. I don't know why. I remember seeing that as a kid growing up and thinking, oh, so it's not just a powerbomb. Like it's a powerbomb
different
with authority. Like it felt
He would-
bigger. It felt
He would
better.
drop them.
Drop
He
them.
wouldn't
Yeah.
throw them down. He'd just drop.
Yeah, like I loved that. I had that. I always, every time I saw that, I was excited. But if I remember right, Brad, yours was boring, sharpshooter.
How's that boring?
Bret Hart.
It was very well executed by Shawn Michaels in 1997.
I had to bring it up.
Really?
And
Really?
then Jay, yours. What was yours?
I don't know if I have a favorite
Jason's was always
finisher.
Sweet Chin Music. Let's
No.
know. It's your favorite name of a finisher. It's
It
your
is the
favorite finisher.
greatest
The biggest
name.
Sean Mark in the
It's
history
the
of the
greatest name
universe.
of a finisher, without a doubt.
That wasn't your favorite
Sweet
finisher.
Chin Music is the greatest name of a finisher. There's no doubt about it. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'll have to give it to you. I can't really argue.
Name
I
one
can't think
better.
of another one. Well, I can't think of one.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll come up with one.
We've
The
had this
elbows-
debate before.
The elbow supper. That's a good one.
That's
But
a good
that only works in Scotland.
That was very niche.
You're back.
Okay, how about this? There's this show I watch, or a podcast. It's about hip hop, and one of the segments he does is like an and or. He'll be like Tupac or Biggie or whatever. So I want to do that for wrestling, if you're up for it. So my first one would be Trish Stratus or Lita.
Oh.
Trish Stratus. Canadian Connection.
Stratus.
Canadian.
Bailey.
That's right.
Oh yeah, fair. Bailey or Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks.
Ooh.
Okay. I mean, I'm
Was
not even
that
gonna bring up Charlotte. She's
controversial?
obviously gonna win. So,
Among
Yeah,
this
for
group,
me,
at least,
Bailey.
it might be
I think
Yeah,
Bailey
it's
for
for
sure.
Yeah,
But
Bailey,
they're
hands
both
down.
good.
Sash all day.
What else can we do? How about Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart? I mean, it's gonna be Bret Hart, I guess, right?
Okay, I know like I'm the Bret Fart joke girl, but I'm a Shawn Michaels, like I like Shawn Michaels more than and I know I've got a target on my back for saying that.
Oh, let's go!
But you guys have to remember,
Feel for the
I'm
fire.
a-
I love it.
I'm a little younger than you, and I wasn't really watching wrestling when Bret Hart was a big deal. But I was watching when Shawn Michaels was a big deal. Like, he was a huge star when I was a kid. Like I was a huge DX lover, big Shawn Michaels
he had 2
girl.
runs.
Yeah. Like, I only found out later as an adult, like, oh my God, maybe Shawn Michaels isn't a nice guy. But I'll pretend like I don't know that.
He's nice now. He seems like he's
Oh
reformed.
no, he's definitely changed for sure. His second run was a lot better to other people.
Yeah.
How about Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock?
Stone Cold.
Correct answer.
Stone Cold. Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
You already answered this earlier. I was gonna say Kane or The Undertaker, but
Undertaker. Easy.
Yeah, that one is easy.
How about Edge and Christian or the Hardy Boys?
Ooh.
Like, which child do you love more, you know?
I didn't catch that one. Skip.
Like, trying to decide which child you love more. Like, I don't... that's like very equal.
Sophie's choice.
It's very equal for me. I'm gonna
Very
go...
equal? Okay.
I'm gonna go Hardy Boys by, like, just this. Just that.
Okay.
Correct answer.
There we go.
And the last one is Randy Orton or Batista?
Whoa.
Oh. I'm gonna go with Batista, which I know might not be a popular response.
Wow.
No.
I'm surprised. Okay, I like it.
Because
Well done, you passed. Because you said Shawn Michaels.
It's a test.
I always think back to like the kid in me, you know, like what electrified me the most when I was a child. And Batista was just like this much more than Randy Orton, like just a little bit. Like this is a very slim hairline win.
Fair.
His entrance is one of the best. Batista's entrance is incredible.
True.
Yeah. Last question before we kind of start wrapping up for the day. Favorite, as we would call them, jobber. Who was your favorite lovable loser? The one that never won, but you just absolutely loved them every time you saw them. Who was your favorite?
My favorite jobbers. Do you guys remember Jesse and Festus?
Yes.
Yes. I remember Festus.
What a call out.
That's a real reach.
Oh
I was not expecting that.
What? Festus. Oh God!
Too many people go to bat for Jesse and Festus.
I'm going with them.
Didn't he have a word? No. Didn't he like get really mean if you said something? Did he like go off?
He had an activation.
An activation word. He would just stand there like the blank stare until you said something, and he would turn into like a killer.
Yeah. Wow.
Festus. I like it. That's a call.
Amazing.
Good call. I like it. That's a jobber right there. That's a jobber.
Favorite jobbers. I would like to hear the favorite jobbers of the jobbers.
The jobbers?
Yeah.
I mean, does Road Dogg count? He was, in a tag team, he's one of the best, but like on his own.
Jobber, but he never kind of hit the peak.
He held the IC title for like a week, but besides that, on his own, he wasn't like anything crazy. He was one of my favorites.
My all-time favorite jobber, we've spoken about this before, was Hurricane Helms. Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. As a massive like graphic novel guy and like superhero guy, seeing superheroes and wrestling combine into one person, I'm here for that all day. That was class.
I got to go with the leader of one of the most successful factions of all time, 3MB, Heath Slater. He's got to come back and complete the prophecy. 3 world champs from 3MB.
Isn't that crazy?
Making it happen in 2024.
That's crazy.
Imagine.
That's my guy.
I always go with my boy Bo Dallas and his nice diaper that he wore, the white trunks. I'm a big Bo Dallas guy, so
He's an NXT legend, but on the main roster,
yeah,
kind of a jobber.
exactly.
Yeah.
My boy.
And I think that's probably about time. I guess we can pass the floor to Erika if there's anything that you want to say. In
where can the people follow you? Where can we follow the WWS? Where can we get involved?
You can follow my shenanigans on Twitter and Instagram at Disco Deathmatch. That is exactly my vibe. Disco and deathmatch, glitter and blood. We love that. You can follow IWS at IWS Hardcore across all platforms, and WWS, I believe they are WW Syndicate on Instagram and Twitter. I believe. But yes, give us
we'll
a follow.
We'll pop it down in the description. We'll put it on the screen. We'll put it everywhere.
And my parting words are, thank you for having me here and giving me a chance to speak about the beautiful feelings I have for women's wrestling. Platforming women's wrestling is very important. Also, it makes you look like a really cool, nice guy, and chicks will dig that. Yeah.
You hear that, Jason?
Okay, like write this stuff down.
Well,
I'm giving good advice.
All right, awesome.
There we go. Right, perfect. I'm gonna start wearing little love hearts on my cheek now as well.
Yeah. Go to your local indie show. Go feel the magic. Feel the sweat and the blood hit you in the face. Watch pay-per-views on TV. Go to indie wrestling. Support women's wrestling. It will make you grow an extra 5 inches, and people will like you more.
I need that.
Okay, sign me up.
Short kick, stand up.
That's right. That's right.
It's not about the wrestling matches we've
thanks
won,
for being
but
here.
the friends we made along the way.
Indeed.
Beautiful.
Couldn't have said it better.
100%.
Couldn't have said it better. Wow.
Well, thank you, Erika, so much, and thank you everyone for listening to one of probably the best ever episodes of the 4 Jobbers podcast. You know where to find us at the 4 Jobbers on social media. Thank you again, and we will see you at the Indies, and we'll see you online, of course, the 4 Jobbers. All right, peace.
And always remember, I don't know if this drop is going to work, but I'll try.
Try it.
You need to be quiet or you're going to start looking like Ellsworth.
Oh, I got half
There
of
we
it.
go.
Got half of it. All right.